Hi guys, good morning. Happy Monday. I am popping on here before I am headed to lunch with my husband. It is our 5-year anniversary. I just went live in my store. I showed them the difference between the tinted moisturizer and the foundation. So I actually did my makeup. And I'm super excited to go celebrate with my husband while we have a sitter during the day. But I wanted to pop on here real quick and do a Monday motivation video for you. Hi, Christy. Good morning. Or good afternoon. What time is it? I don't even know. This happens a lot. Oh, it's definitely afternoon. Sorry. This happens a lot when you start to become your own boss, which is part of what this video is about. So if you are watching this live, I would love for you to tell me what LipSense color you are wearing today. I will share with you mine. If you're watching the replay, post replay below and tell us what LipSense color you are wearing today. Mine is aligned with Berry. You guys, if you haven't tried our liner, I know I used to say over and over, you don't need the liners, just use LipSense, and that's true. You can use LipSense as a liner. However, our liners are amazing, and I pretty much use it every single day. So I lined with Berry, I did 1 layer of cappuccino, and then I did 2 layers of the caramel apple diamond. So I'm loving this little combo right here. So I did Berry liner. It dries faster. It's so much better than LipSense. I don't know. I just find it to be better. I did 1 layer of cappuccino. I find that the diamond collection tends to come off my lips a little faster, especially if I'm using that plus the diamond gloss. So I always recommend doing some other kind of layer, and I've been like literally almost layering every single day with cappuccino. I like lighter kind of colors. I like frosty colors, and so the cappuccino kind of gives the perfect. I've been doing it with pretty much every color every day. So that's my color for the day. I'm so glad that some of you are popping on. So I'm gonna get started, but I always get someone to ask what lip color it is. So yeah, I love seeing all of yours. So I want to talk with you a little bit about this phrase that you maybe have never heard of, or maybe you have heard of and you're just not quite sure. And I'm sorry for the noise behind you. Actually, there's probably a lot of noise. My little makeup brush cleaner, which is amazing, the Illumina or whatever, I forget how you say it. I've posted videos about it before and shared with you guys. It's cleaning my makeup brushes. If you guys aren't cleaning your makeup brushes once a week, you're doing yourself a disservice and your makeup is probably not going to go on as good. So make sure you're cleaning your brushes. So that's kind of what's in the background. It's on its 3rd clean cycle. And then we also have our cleaning service downstairs. So part of that all sounds crazy because 1.5 years ago, we were living with my parents, just really struggling in a lot of different ways. We always knew God had a bigger plan, and we knew that He was going to eventually get us to a better place and give us the desires of our heart, but it just seemed like there was no end in sight of all these bad things happening. And then to think today, not only am I home, but my husband is home. We have a cleaning service cleaning our house for us so that I'm not spending my time doing that. Joni is a huge advocate of that. She says cleaning is the #1 reason why a lot of women really kind of fail at businesses like this, because they spend so much of their time doing other stuff that they could pass off to someone else to do. Now, if you enjoy cleaning, that's your jam. I don't. And so it's amazing because 1.5 years ago, we could not have afforded a cleaning service at all. We were barely paying bills month to month with the situation we got ourselves into. So you may have heard this phrase, life by design. And I want to talk a little bit more about that, because I had heard that phrase about 4.5 years ago when I first started direct sales, and I didn't really know what that meant. So let's break apart that little phrase, life by design, right? So it's your life, whatever your life is, by design. So that means not just waking up and doing what somebody else tells you to do, which if you have a corporate job, you're pretty much on somebody else's schedule for the most part, right? I've had jobs where I was an outside sales rep and I kind of got to create my schedule a little bit, but I still had to work from 8 to 5. Or really, let's be honest, it was really 7 to 7 or 7 to 8, depending if I had a dinner with a client, could it be till 9 or 10. So that phrase, life by design, is something that I just really never understood. And as I sat here this morning, every day I write down 3 things I'm thankful for in this journal. And one of the things that I wrote down was, I'm thankful for my husband. I wrote, I'm thankful to be able to afford a cleaning service. I'm grateful for 5 years of marriage. And I am grateful to be creating this life by design. Because today, Mondays are my hustle day. Mondays are my get back to the grind day, because I take off Sundays and I take off most of Saturday. Does anybody else take off either a Saturday or a Sunday? Raise your hand. Give me a hand raise below. Now, I do understand that some of you who have full-time jobs like I did 4.5 years ago when I first started my first direct sales business, my weekend was my hustle. My weekend was the time that I actually worked a lot harder, because Monday through Friday, I had a job that I was working 50 plus hours a week, right? I had a sales job. And so the harder you work, the more you make. And so I worked a ton. So Monday through Friday, I would get in the nooks and crannies of my life, and I would carve out times at night. I would wake up early and work my business in the morning. I would work my business during lunchtime, and I would work my business late at night when my child, at the time I only had one, was sleeping. And so there wasn't a lot of social time for me. There wasn't a lot of friend time. There wasn't a lot of personal time with my husband. Like, it was a mutual agreement that I was going to work this hard so that I could then our family could reap the benefits of it and truly create that life by design I kept hearing about and desperately wanted. So I understand if Saturdays or Sundays aren't your off day, but they are mine, because I work like crazy Monday through Friday. And so really Monday through Thursday. Friday, I kind of taper off around 3 or 4-ish. But the beauty of that, and the reason for me to share that with you, is that it's my design, right? I don't have somebody else telling me I have to show up at 8 a.m. or 10 a.m. or whatever time, 10 p.m. I don't have anyone telling me that I have to stop at a certain time. And days like today, when it's my anniversary, and I would really like to have lunch with my husband, because honestly, my family lives like 40 minutes away. And so for my mom offered to come over and watch my kids tonight so that we could go out to dinner. But I know Monday's a work day for me. And so I was like, you know what, instead of doing that and taking away from her just normal Monday night, we're going to do a lunch date. We're going to do a lunch date while our sitter is here watching our kids. And so it just really makes, I could cry, because it's just, I wanted this so desperately for the past 4 years of my life. I wanted so badly to be able to allow my husband to quit the corporate world so that he could pursue his God-sized dreams business, which is real estate, and doing like, we say it's philanthropic real estate. It's like the best way to describe it. It's, he's not a realtor or anything, which is awesome too. But I wanted that so badly about 4.5 years ago, and it seemed so far off. But if you have that life by design goal in mind, and that might be you keeping your full-time job, and maybe you owning houses in multiple states, or so that you have vacation homes, or I don't know what life by design looks like for you, but it truly is allowing you to design the life that you want, because the conversations that George and I are having now are so different than the conversations we were having a year ago. The conversations we're having now are, hey babe, he's gonna go grocery shopping during the day, because Lord knows I can't stand fighting the weekend crowd going grocery shopping, right? He can do that during the week if he wants to. I avoid Target and Whole Foods and Trader Joe's and Aldi's on the weekends, because it's crazy. And because I have kept my focus in sight, and even on the really hard days, even when I had people quit, even when I lost a sale, even when I lost a recruit, even when I just didn't want to do it, I kept that life by design that I so desperately wanted in my sight. And so I want to encourage you to dream big, with this business opportunity because it is so possible for you to truly design the life that you want. Because today, I didn't wake up to an alarm clock, right? I got to do my workout on my own time, and I had a cleaning service. And I'm not saying any of this to brag to you, because just a year and a half ago, we were really struggling. I know what it's like to make good money and live comfortable. And I know what it's like to not know if you have enough money to pay your bills. I have been on both sides of that. And then Senegence has taken that abundance and just multiplied it times like 10, really times 30, right? And it's just been so surreal to wake up this morning, not have an alarm clock, get to do whatever I wanted. My work day starts at 10 o'clock. That's when I want to be sitting at my desk working. And then I have a schedule that I follow. But today, because it's my anniversary and I choose that I want to go have lunch with my husband and I don't want to work for a few hours because I want to go spend time with him. That is a life by design. The fact that, we can afford a cleaning service so that I don't have to spend my time cleaning, and George doesn't have to spend his time cleaning. He can do something else. That is a life by design. We get to design it the way that we want it because we have been blessed so much with this business. And I know so many of you are starting to experience what that looks like. And it's almost surreal for me to take a step outside of my life today and see how much we have been blessed through Senegence, that I don't want you ever to lose sight of the opportunity that you have, even if it seems so far away. Because I know what it's like to be in the struggle, and I know what it's like to dream big and really, really, really want it, and it just seems so far away. But on the other side of it, having achieved it, I am just so grateful that I never lost hope. I never lost the confidence in myself and the opportunity and the possibility to truly choose to live a life of love and abundance, like Joni says. So I really want you to sit down today. This is your little assignment. And I want you to give maybe 10 or so minutes around the idea and the concept of life by design. What would that look like? Because the conversations George and I are having now are, hey, we want to build a house on my parents' property because they have some, and we want to have a second home in another state. You guys, again, and I don't say this to brag, I say this because that has been a desire of ours, not to live in Pennsylvania the entire year, because quite honestly, we don't love the weather here in the winter time. It's awful for us. We love sunshine and we love living a life of activity and outside. And so it's going to look different. And a year and a half ago, we couldn't even afford a mortgage, barely even rent. By the grace of God, my parents allowed us to stay with them, and we didn't even pay rent, which was a huge blessing for the financial place that we were in when George took a different job and a pay cut and all that jazz. So I just want you to take some time today and sit down and ask yourself, not what somebody told you is the normal way to live, not what somebody else told you you're capable of, not what somebody else is doing or you see this person living this way. I want you to sit down and reflect and ask yourself, get some really solid quiet time with yourself and say, if I could design a life the way exactly I wanted it to be, if no fears, no failures, no time, no money, no people, nothing would get in my way, what would that look like? And then I want you to remember that when the times get tough, because it's possible. That life that you want is so very possible. It really is. You just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And if you have to slow down because it's a certain season of your life, that's okay, but that doesn't mean quit. It's so much harder to start something once you've quit than it is to just keep going a little bit slower. Because over the last year, even with Senegence, I have had moments where I had to kind of slow down and adjust to the situations going on in my life. When Dylan got sick, when I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, when, just different things, when I was maxed out with like craziness. And so I've had to balance and adjust, and it's okay to slow down, but it's not okay to quit. And so just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and keep in mind, keep that idea of that life by design that you so desire and that you so crave, and go for that, because that can totally be your life. All right. that's what I have for you today. I see lots of comments coming in, so I'm going to scroll up and make sure. I think a couple questions came in. Oh, let me see. Thanks, guys. Happy anniversary. Thanks so much. 5 years. Like, we can't even believe that we've been married for 5 years. And we have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. It's just insane. And we've moved like 6 times. And, yes, I have worked really hard. But I think what I want you guys to know is if you work hard, you can have it too, right? That's really the only difference between me and somebody who's not as successful as me. It's just that they either haven't been doing it as long, they haven't had as many failures, or they're not trying as hard, right? Because everything we do in this business is teachable. And then you just take the strengths that you have. My strengths are different than a lot of your strengths, but I don't focus on the weaknesses of mine. I focus on the strengths, and my strengths are people skills. I love people. And if I didn't do Synergens, I would still love people, and I would still connect with people. And so finding your strength, like a Katie Enos, right? Her strength is makeup skills. That's not my strength. Although I have to do it, although I have to work on it, it's not like what has made me super successful in the business. Nobody's looking at my videos on YouTube trying to learn how to do a smoky eye. I hope you're not, at least. I'm not your girl. All right, Brittany Baumgartner, how do you recommend we keep these goals in the focus when the goal is more than a year away? What tips do you have? Well, my goal was to retire my husband. So the first, I think breaking it down into chunks is for me. So I knew in order to retire George, right, that would require first me retiring, being a corporate dropout. And so that was the first set of goals, right? And so to replace my base in sales, I don't know, sales can be all over the place, but the base salary was $60,000 for me. And then I earned bonuses and commission. So that was typically a 6-figure job, right? But for me, I knew I could live off of $60,000. So for me, in the beginning, 4 years ago of starting direct sales, right, my goal was to replace a $60,000 job, right? And so I broke that down into what does that mean each week, right? And then I checked that off, right? When I was making that kind of money, I was like, okay, great. Now I can quit this job. Now my next goal is to maybe do mine plus half of George, right? And I think it's just chunking it, right? Because sometimes those big goals can almost set us back because we think they're so far away. So I think having small milestones along the way. So my mentor actually asked me what my 5-year plan was. And I'm telling you guys, it was probably one of the hardest things I've done in a really long time, trying to project 5 years out. Because I know what I want 5 years to look like, but then to backtrack where I need to be in 4 years, in 3 years, in 2 years, in 1 year, and then in 3, 6, 9 months, it was a lot harder to do. But it's essential to know where you're going, right? If you're just going and you don't have a plan to get there, it's a lot less likely that you'll actually get there. So I think my tip for you is to take that big goal, I call them God-sized dreams, right? Take that big goal that you have at the end of the road and chunk it and break it down into what does that mean smaller? What does that mean in the next 3 months? What does that need to look like? How does my business need to grow in the next 6 months for that to start to come to fruition and to be a reality? Thank you so much, Darlene. Hey, Deborah, thank you. What actionable ways have you kept your goal and visual alive during those 4 years? For me, I am so passionate. I don't really need a visual. I look at my child every day, and that was my thing. Every time I got a call from, I actually had really nasty coworkers when I went back from maternity leave, and they were just, not to sound like a victim, but I felt like they were so out to get me. I was one of the higher performing people in our company, and I don't say this to brag, but I just think that when I came back, I wasn't on my A game like that, and I think they wanted to keep me down, and they just did a lot of nasty things to try and, like, I don't know, it was just one of those things. And I was postpartum and I was super emotional, so probably even me, I was more emotional than I needed to be about half the stuff. But every day that something happened that I didn't like, I used it to fuel my fire instead of put my fire out. And I know that that's something else too. It's like a lot of the times when things happen and life happens, you can let things fizzle your fire. And maybe you only have a little teeny tiny flame that's going and it's so small. But a lot of the times people let life put out the fire, as opposed to let's ignite the fire and let's use that anger and that frustration and that disappointment and that sadness and all of those things that frustrate you and make you angry and make you cry, I use that to fuel it. And I was like, how dare you treat me like this? I'm going to show you that I not only am going to be at the top, I'm going to quit this job and I'm going to be at the top of something else that actually allows me to have the freedom and the flexibility and the life by design that I so craved. And so using your failures and using your disappointments to really fuel your fire, and that's a mindset thing, right? That's a mindset thing, and that is the number one thing I tell you guys. You don't have to be a makeup artist to be really successful here. You don't have to be the perfect communicator to be super successful here. You don't have to be the best salesperson to be successful here. If you can get your mind right and you can start to feed it the right things where you truly believe that you are designed for abundance, you are made to live a life of design by your design and to be blessed and to be successful and to have massive success, right? One of my daily affirmations is, I am worthy of massive success because I will use it for God's glory. I say that to myself every day because there was a point in my journey where I started to feel like, maybe I'm not really worthy of all this. And why is God choosing me to bless me with this? Like, I work hard, but I work hard at everything I do. And so the success and the abundance I've seen with Senegence is truly mind-blowing. Because I don't really feel like I'm necessarily doing something different. I'm using all the failures that I've had before, and I'm using all the things that I learned that I did wrong in my last business and make it better, right? Back to that, do your best until you know better and then do better. So I'm doing better, but I don't know that it's like, it's not anything like crazy different, right? I'm just working hard. So, my whole point is using the negative things and the sadness and the disappointments and the failures to fuel your fire instead of putting it out. Cleaning crew goals. Yes, Emily. Yes. Delilah, thank you so much for teaching me how to work for this. I know what Life by Design means now, and that is pushing me every day. Yes, I cannot wait to celebrate you. And exactly. Yes, Amy, don't quit. Audrey, you have Crohn's disease. Girl, this has been like the craziest 5 months. So I started having symptoms in either late September or early October. And I thought I was dying. I thought I had cancer. So if you notice, a lot of my personality was very different. If you go back and watch videos from like October, November, December, you'll see a little different Heather, a heavy-hearted Heather, really, because I thought I had cancer. And I don't, praise the Lord. But I do have ulcerative colitis, so that's a whole other topic. I haven't been trying as hard, you admit it. Well, Deborah, I appreciate you admitting it. I think that's something huge, right? And I think sometimes we don't try when we don't really believe something's possible. And so know that it's possible and keep going. Sarah, leaving your corporate job, retiring your husband, having kids, and moving into your dream home in the woods. I love it. I love it. Brittany, I'm just going right now as fast and as hard as humanly possible. I need to reverse engineer. Yes. One of the biggest lessons I learned. You cannot be reactionary. You have to have a plan. And putting a plan in place is really hard, but let me tell you what's even harder is following the plan. But anyone who is massively successful long term and not just a year or two, it's a plan and it's an executed plan. And it takes a lot of discipline. But it is so worth it. Like days today that I can go and have lunch with George because I want to. And because I don't have anyone that I have to answer to, although I need to help you guys, right? Especially, mentor calls and all of that stuff. I have none scheduled for today. So I'm good to go and I can take that time off. Yes. All right, guys. If you ever need to talk, message me. It's Harbor. Thank you. Yeah, Audrey, I would love to talk with you. I would love to know how you're battling it. I think it's a little different on, and for those of you that don't know, ulcerative colitis is basically like my body thinks my colon is foreign, and so it attacks it every day, and it's not pretty. It is not pretty. And so a lot of foods mess me up. I'm actually, we are starting to go vegan to clean up our nutrition. So, I'll keep y'all posted on all that, but I do appreciate all of you. A lot of you message me and ask me if I'm doing okay, so I do appreciate it. It's not cleared up yet. I refuse to take medicine for the rest of my life, so I'm trying to do an alternative, holistic route. I don't know where we're going yet. I'm not sure. It's nothing fancy because I have on a hat and like yoga pants, but, Kelly, we are all given the gifts, opportunity, blessings. It's up to us to recognize it, embrace it, grow with it, and be grateful and filled with glory. Yes. Deborah, you would love to know exactly what you do every day when you sit down at your desk. Yes. So what I do is going to look a little different than a new person because I do a lot of leadership stuff. But if you want to know, I already have a video for you. I've already done it several times. Go look in our team files and look for the power of threes. It should be your non-negotiable every single day what you do. And I'll give you in a nutshell. What it is connecting with new people every single day, 3 to 5 new people. It is reaching out to people, 3 to 5 people every single day that has nothing to do with Senegence, nothing to do with joining your team. It's truly just getting to know people because this is a people business and networking is what this is all about, and truly getting to know someone to even know where you possibly fit in their life, because you might not fit in somebody's life the same way as you might fit in another person's life. So getting to know people. The next one is inviting them to check out your products and or your services, right? If they don't know that you do this, then how would they know to buy from you, right? And the next one is to invite people to the business opportunity. 2 different things, right? If you know somebody would be really good at this business, that's different than just necessarily wanting to sell them products. And so you still want them to fall in love with the products. That's going to be a given. But you want to invite them to the business opportunity. And that's 3 to 5 people every single day. And then the last one is follow up. So if you can do those 5 things every single day, you will be successful. The thing is most people start to do, well, there's one or two things in here that's really uncomfortable. And then there's this one in here that's really inconvenient to actually keep track of who you talk to and follow up with them. Most people lose the sale and lose the sponsoring in the follow-up. Yeah. And then the other one is you don't see the results right away, and a lot of people quit because they don't see the results. But it's doing those 5 things on a regular basis, every single day, feeding your funnel, right? If you're into marketing, you'll hear a lot about funneling. All funneling is those 5 things, but it's in an engineered kind of a way where it makes it automated for you, which there's nothing wrong with that, but most people don't start with a marketing budget to be able to afford that kind of a email system and marketing and a website and all of those things. And so if you start out with those things, you will be successful. Yeah, Mandy, vegan. Although yesterday I had chicken and bacon on my salad. So we're not going to do like 100% vegan, but we're going to do more, probably like 90% of the time doing plant-based and vegan. So yeah, I'm excited. We actually just have, this week is our 2nd week to get like a weekly box of food, and it's all based around vegan, and it is so good. I'm like super excited about it. And y'all know, if you know me, you know I hate to cook. So these boxes are amazing. And if you want a box, I will give you my referral code because they are I've tried HelloFresh, I've tried Blue Apron, I've tried some of those other services, not vegan. I just was not impressed at all. And George and I are like ecstatic about this vegan box. So, and if you're not interested in vegan, then that obviously won't even like make you interested at all. But it's amazing if you're interested in vegan. Deborah, you've been doing vegan for a month. You feel so much better. Yes, girl, if you want this box, oh my gosh, it's amazing. I can send you the link to check them out. All right, guys. Well, I love you. I hope that I answered all of your questions. I will. Well, this is our last week for Rank in the Bank. So for those of you in here, yeah, for those of you, I'll put the link. I'll put the link right in here so you guys can see it. For those of you in there, this is our last week, and then next week is kind of like just hoorah, just push, 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 push for this last seminar year. All right. I love you all. Go. Write down your life by design, figure out what that looks like, and work toward that every single day, and reverse engineer and backtrack. What does that look like over the next month, over the next 3 months, over the next 6 months, over the next year, and then 2 years and 3 years, right? I love you. Have a great day. I'll talk to y'all soon.